morning, everybody. I see some people out there. So got a coffee, low gains. Happy Wednesday to everyone. And to you, Tracker.
Thank you, Matt. Happy Hump Day.
Yes, it is the happy hump day.
Oh man, I'm ready for the market to get over this hump. I think,
Well,
like I said last night, I think the Fed's gonna come out and say, "Well, we're not doing anything," and the market's gonna say, "Okay, we don't care. We're still going up. That's fine."
yeah, I mean, we are range bound, so basically in the middle of a range for a lot of things, especially SPY, QQQ. So they could send it either way. Send it back up to resistance, send it back down to major support. So it's anybody's guess, really.
Yeah, it could do both. Sometimes it'll hit the bottom and hit the top, or hit the top and hit the bottom.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just dive in here to the SPY, and yeah, here's the range it's been in for the past couple of weeks, right? The 548 up to the 568 zone, and it did get to the near the top of the cloud this week, and we are up pre-market, but that doesn't really mean anything because we can go to the daily chart and just check it out that it did cross the 50-day moving average for the past 4 days in a row, but it has not even touched the cloud yet. So, yeah, they could easily go up towards the 568 again or come back down to the 50-day moving average or the conversion line, 555, 552. And we still haven't really back tested that 50 days. So I think there is a potential to go down there still, which means I'm not going to be super bullish just yet. But what I can see, if we just go sideways day over day, starting on like the 13th or the 12th of May, we'll start to be on top of the daily cloud, which is going to be a good development for the SPY. But again, we still could go back down to the 548 to retest it one more time before trying to go higher. So don't get too complacent just yet. Same situation for the QQQ, right? We can see that QQQ, it has not back tested the 50-day moving average either. And it keeps pressing up against the daily cloud as resistance. And right now it's going to open up maybe right on or underneath the cloud. We'll see. But it also got rejected by the 200-day moving average. But the same situation, if it just keeps going sideways, we'll be on top of the daily Ichimoku cloud as well. But the top of that cloud is around 471. And we are at 482 right now. So that still would be 11 points lower. So don't be too happy up here because I think we still might see lower first. They might have some shenanigans left in the tank before trying to break the resistance above. And lastly, IWM, we can see that it still is getting rejected by the 198. It's trying to stabilize around there. We did hit the conversion line yesterday for a back test. I do like that. And we are trying to get back above the 50-day moving average again pre-market. So that's a good development. And this one needs to kind of go up a little bit to get above the cloud. So I think I like the IWM look a little bit better now since it's really stabilizing better, and it already back tested the conversion line down here, unlike the QQQ and SPY. So I think there might be a potential to get towards the top of the cloud by next week, but it's all looking like maybe the 12th 13th of next week could be a start of something interesting, right? Could be down first before up for the QQQ and SPY, but the IWM could be trending sideways to up during that same time. And Bitcoin, we did see it did go to the top of last week's wick, kind of identical. It fell a little bit short, so there's really no higher high. We can look at the daily chart for that development specifically, and when we turn on the other indicators here, we can see that it's back above the daily conversion line. So that's a good development because it spent the last couple of days below it. So 95,442 is that support that I'm looking at for Bitcoin to stabilize on top of. And if so, I think it can continue its journey to the 102. So Bitcoin, crypto related stuff, it does look better, which kind of translates into risk on, which is why kind of IWM maybe might be gravitating higher over the QQQ and the SPY. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited about crypto. Let me
Yeah.
show you. I'll share what I've been showing everyone. Overnight, like last night after the show, I couldn't go to sleep because I kept watching what Bitcoin was doing. Let's see, where do I have to go? Right here. If you go back to, there's a 4-hour chart. So here, all-time high of 109,356, and then it ran all the way down to 74434. No, wait, I'm sorry. Oh no, I see it. I did it from the bottom. Okay, so from the 49,577 bottom to the that new all-time high of 109,356. It came back about, I can't remember, it was a 618. But anyway, I reversed it, and so now I'm watching your 786, and that 786 from down there to up here is right here at 96,063. Three, I'm sorry, 563, and so I've got it right here as a little line, 96563, and on that hourly chart last night, price, it really did. When we started the show, it was bolting up this way, and then it crossed over the weekly pivot point and ran up to here. And I couldn't go to sleep until I wanted to see if it just touched this and went back up. It went a little bit under it and then under it, but now it's back over it. Maybe it'll touch it one more time, and then this is your 786. And I think if this holds as support, then it'll push it past the previous all-time high. I'm sorry, it'll start to make towards that. I think it will. It'll push past the previous all-time high. So it take us to this 2236 fib extension is 109,970. So just a little higher than 109,356. And then maybe it'll test back and then run higher after that. So yeah, excited about Bitcoin running to test all-time high. But like Matt said, don't be too excited. It's kind of hang around here a little longer.
Yeah.
Man,
No,
it really feels like it wants to go.
nothing's breaking out just yet. So let's have a little bit more patience, is what I see. So it could do it this weekend or this week, but we'll see. We got to get through this news events, and earnings are this week for Coinbase and stuff tomorrow. So we are getting to the nitty gritty of all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess be cautious, but be ready.
Yes, exactly. All right, we'll jump into some of the
All right,
requests if you're
Tesla.
ready.
Oh, yeah. Tesla's
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
same as last night, same as yesterday. I'm still looking for 319.03 next for this A wave up, though it could extend a little higher. But let's watch for 319.03 next. It does seem to be foreshadowing 278.98 as support, unless it builds a new support base up under the 382 at 319.03, and eventually only the 383.76 be next for the. But the market seemed to be looking at the 786 last time I looked. Where'd they go? Oh, there it is on the daily chart. They've got sell order blocks up here near the 786 at 429.84. And then larger scale just, goes to like 600 or 700 and then on to 1,000 to 1,100 after that. All right, requests.
Yeah,
There was a request for, go ahead.
I have the SCHD that somebody mentioned first, so I can jump on that. Yeah, so it's looking dreadful, is what Bitfarms bankrupted my family said. And I think it's kind of true, right? It's it's dropping below the cloud, below a lot of important support, and it's even going a little bit below the 200-week moving average, but it's trying to stabilize on there. So I think if you're looking at something for stability to try to go higher, it's going to have to start to maintain that 200-week moving average, 25.66, which it's really exactly at their pre-market. So I think that's kind of the only indicator, because if that starts flipping to resistance, then it's kind of going to probably drift lower and lower again. But it's done this pattern before, so it could recover, because it did it before right here and then go higher. So it could do it again and go higher. So it's not dead yet, but just watch weekly candle closes, that 25.66 zone. If it continues around that zone, I think it's safe to continue its journey back higher. But if not, then watch out below. So that's my thoughts on it.
Very cool. There was a request for a crypto last night, and I did a chart, and I can't remember what it was.
It was CRV.
That was it. That was the one. Here, I did a. Where's my screen? There you go. Here's CRV USD curve Dow. Yeah, and I'm looking for just a conservative 382,236, so to about almost 79 next. Then maybe test back to where we just got above at 2 cents. Then on to 78, back down to retest $1.23, and then maybe wave 5 tops out at $2.93. I don't know when. That's because that's how my charts work. I don't know when this is going to happen, but what I expect to hit next based on the previous price action. And then, do you have a Dow curve Dow?
Yeah, I've showed it many a times. It's just range bound, like a lot of things. I think
Oh, okay.
77 cents is my 77 cents is my resistance. So I think it needs to get above that before it goes higher. But there's not too
Oh, yeah. Well, that
much.
lines up
To
really well with
add.
my 78.94 cents.
Yep.
Very close.
All right. All right. We can jump into other requests. I have AMD here. So AMD, yeah, back above the blue level of the GAN, back above the conversion line. So I like it, right? I think it has room to go higher, but there is still quite a bit of resistance above when it gets back to the 112s, the 116 zone. But I think it can get there. I think it can get there, and it just might take a little bit of time. But all I care about is really stabilizing on top of this, like $96, $97 zone. And if so, then price can just continue its journey higher. And I did want to talk about Coinbase too before earnings tomorrow tomorrow afternoon, and we can see that it's trying to stabilize on top of the 702 fib, the 197.27, which is actually a very important number to me. So I'll be watching that. Right, we are above it a little bit pre-market, $200, but it's kind of range bound. Right after this big breakout back above a lot of things, it's just back testing right now. So I would prefer it to stay above this 197 to stay a lot more optimistic, right? If it starts to close below it, then it might retest like the 180s below. But I think we're in a point now where it was like a double bottom. So regardless of what price action is doing, it's going to start trending higher over time. Just not sure how deep this back test is really going to go, if it needs to go back down to the 180s or not. But I think if we can see Bitcoin start to break out, the altcoins start to break out, and all of this volume starts to occur on Coinbase, I mean, I think their Q1 fees collected and their earnings is probably going to be pretty good. So we can most likely start to see a trend reversal higher and higher.
Yeah, I think Coinbase, its support is at 192.88 cents. So I don't think it's going to go below 192.88 anymore. I think it wants to go to the 123.6 next at 269. Well, actually, I agree 382. 260 is what I'm looking for next. And then I did this OPFI chart, or I mean, I started doing it. I've never seen this one before now. I just drew this 1, 2, and so let's look for 382, 236, 1236, 764. So there's my conservative targets for what OPFI would want to do next. That's not super bullish yet on the daily time scale, but they're, institutions are buying in. All right.
Okay.
What
What about that
do we do?
MTPLF?
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah,
you have that one.
MTPLF. I was looking at that. So this one, I almost bought this because the chart looks really good, but I guess it's there's a foreign currency conversion fee or something gets charged to trade this. So I'm not trading this, but it does look like it wants to go 85. Ooh, no, it's already gone up a little bit. Maybe 73, 74% higher. At least your 127.2 fib retracement extension. So yeah, Now this looks like it looks very constructive, very good. I think, yeah. Once it gets over 528, think about taking profit around 630. You could sell, I don't know, half and then see if it goes to 683 or not, and then sell the other half and then wait for an ABC down. And then just ask me again to chart it after it stops up here, and I'll tell you where I think it might come back down to. Maybe this or just under the 100% fib right here, somewhere around $5. All right, after the top up here at 141 or 127.2 fibs.
All right.
What
I
else we
have
got?
a Pan W here, Palo Alto
Oh yeah,
Networks, and
NW.
Pan W. We can see that price is going back up towards the 2.272 fib right there, 196.65. That is going to be your resistance. It did have a great recovery from all of this support zone down here. And now the support on the weekly chart is technically still the top of the cloud around the 178. So it is range bound, right? I'm looking for some kind of direction. Not sure if it's really ready to break out just yet. Some people might say, ooh, this is a head and shoulders, right? So I guess it has to kind of break this 2.272 fib to get a little bit more bullish. So that's what I'll be looking at for Palo Alto. Range bound, but has potential to break out, but it has to prove it to me first. Otherwise, it's just range bound.
Nice. I've got E.l.f. Beauty here, and my chart's exactly the same as we looked at it last time, except the price is a little higher now. So last time we looked at it, price was down here at 52.89, and now it's up here at 68.10 on the weekly charts. That's where it closed yesterday. I'm still targeting the 38.2% fib at 131.38, and then a test back to 99.97 before moving to the 123.6 fib up here at 315. So let's see from where price is right now. The wave 3 top would be 1% price improvement. So yeah, just like other thing I told you about last couple days, anything below the 23.6 fib is a great place to enter because that's likely going to become the support and not go lower than that afterwards. So below the 23.6 fib. So great risk reward here. Once it gets up to the 3.2, just put your stop below the $100, maybe like 95 or but the 99.97 should hold after that, and then keep going up with that. And then, this is something I didn't really talk about. I don't use stops. I'm trying to change that. A lot of times when you see my chart patterns go like this, once you get over, like once we do the 1, 2 and price gets over the 38.2% fib, and it's like halfway to the 618, you would probably be best to move your 8.2. And once it gets over the 61.8, move your stop up to the 50% level. And once it gets 7.6, move your stop up to the 61.8 fib. Always just be like a maybe like a fib and a half behind where price is with your stops to protect your profits.
All right.
Mm,
Let's get on to. I got IBIT and MSTR here, so let's do a little bit
Mike,
together. We can see IBIT is breaking above this 1.618 fib right here. This is from the high of March 2024 and the low of August 2024, and that's at 53.67. So it's maintaining that as a support now. It broke out a couple weeks ago and kind of flipped it to a support. So this is great. We are seeing a continuation higher now, and then the arc above is probably going to be your next resistance zone, which kind of aligns with the double top area, right? So we'll be looking at that $60 zone as some kind of resistance, but this does need to stabilize on top of that 53.67 in order to get there. So that's the main support that I'll be watching for IBIT. And for MSTR, we can see that price is trying to break above the weekly baseline again, and it is currently below. Well, it closed below yesterday, but it's currently above it pre-market 395.32. The baseline's at 387.26, so I'll be watching that. We are still not making higher highs on MicroStrategy, so I'm not going to be overly bullish right here, simply for the fact that this is resistance, right? We can just draw a line right here. Right here, it would be where I want a higher high to be. from January 2025. I would love it to start closing above 400, 404 to be exact, and then price can journey on to the 1.618 again. But right now, it's at resistance. I don't know if it is ready to break out above, so we do need to be cautious here because it could easily come back down and retest the cloud because it is a volatile name. So that cloud does exist around that 1.414, and that's around 340. So that's your higher time frame support, guys. Would not be too overzealous in this zone until we start clearing this and making a higher high.
I wonder if that means Bitcoin's going to fake us out again.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, Bitcoin did not make a higher high either, so I think we have potential to
Not
go
yet.
back
No.
a little bit lower. Yeah.
Oh man, it's right at that 786. I really want to see
Yep.
it go. Let's see. I've got UU Energy Fuels here. I feel like I've done this one before, but
Yeah, we have.
yeah, it must have been on a different. It must have been on an older chart template. Anyway, I've just redrawn it here. Obviously, you know, it's had much higher highs in the past. So just a mean reversion would bring it back pretty high. But let's just look at on the small scale for now. I do have this. Why is this line there? Let's get rid of that line. So from this low of 78 cents to this high of $11.39, it traced back to, I think, the 76.4% fib right here. And now, oh, I need your 786. Where is, we'll just use this. And so you can see it. There's a sell order block that's right around the 74% going the other way. Here's a 0.6 fib. So once price gets over 912, it should start retesting this high and then go higher. So these are retracements right here on the fib extensions, which I can do because your little wave one, little wave two. So let's look forward to do the 236. I'm sorry, the 32236. So 725 for the 618, also on the retrace, down to 570, and then onto the 123.6, and you can see that the sell order block kind of starting into that, to 1631, back to the 764 to 1131, and then this would top out at the 2236 at $26.92. Yeah, it looks like my wave three is very close to your 141. I like the way that looks. Yeah, yeah. So in terms of percentage, where price is right now, to the 318, to get above the 764 is 143% high. And that's also about where the 100% fib is. To get back to right just to here is 143, 144%. The wave three top is 250% higher. So yeah, a good risk reward setup for UUU. Again, we just fought off the 11.4% fib mini boss down, and so getting over 570 is the next order of business, and then after that, that should be support. There you go, UUU.
All right. I got LAES here. So
Oh,
I'll
yes.
switch to my screen. Seal backwards, right? Or LES, yeah. So we can see that price is above the cloud. That is support 213, and it's below resistance, which is like 280s, 290s above. So it's been range bound for over a month, well over a month, like month and a half, almost 2 months.
Mhm.
So this is really nothing exciting until it breaks above this 288. So until that's proven that it can do that, it's just going to remain range bound to me, and same range, right? 213, 288, same range. So nothing to really update until it breaks one of those levels.
Yep. I've got my LAES chart because I'm in this. I'm in this to win this. Thank you. Let's see. So this is the minor degree setup, but basically this larger chart from the 29-cent low to the $11 high, and then to the $1.81 higher low. That's my 1, 2. And so just to get we're still battling the 11.4% fib boss. It tried to get for it. Actually tried to get. I talked about this before. Tried to get to the 236, failed. Went lower. Tried to get to the 11.4. It still can't. Once it gets over 303, though, it's going to head for just $4.34 here, the 23.6, and then conservatively speaking, it should go to at least the 382 at 590, then back to 4, and so on. 1505 is my wave 3 top. Let's see. So where price is right now, just to get to the 236 is about 80% higher. To get to the 382 is about 146% higher. And then if it does get to, if the wave 3 tops out at the 123.6 fib at 1505, and where price is right now, that's 520, almost 530% higher. So I like this. I know what Elizabeth Miss Sandy likes this one too. We're both in it. We're gonna see. We're gonna ride it for a while and see what we can get.
Okay. Let's see here. I got Oscar on deck. OSCR. So yeah, I've been buying this one. I bought this in the 12s last week just to build a position for this wonderful looking stock. Now that support finally held at 12.25 down here. So fantastic development, and pre-market it's jumping up to $15 right at the baseline, right near the bottom of the cloud. So guess what? This is resistance, guys. This is why I accumulate support and be cautious at resistance. So yeah, I mean, if you bought in the 12s, you could take some profits up here if you wanted to, and you could see that the baseline 1503, that's the goal to stay above, but then you got more resistance above with this 1562 702 fib and the bottom of the cloud and the 50-week moving average. So it's not likely to just like explode higher through all this right away. It might take some time. So the good news is support held, but right now we are approaching that resistance zone.
Very cool. I've got SCHD for Jay Gonzalez here. This one is fine. It's just kind of moving slow. U.S. dividend equity. I'm tracking this from the of $8.08 to where it touched in 2020, just before the pandemic. And then the pandemic sent it back down to $12.94. So it's basically done the 3, the what's in wave 5. It's just a wave 5 here. Even after the April 7th low in the market, it didn't send it, all the way back to the 4. Yeah, my target for this is still the 2236 at 38.93. Let's see. It's 52% higher from where price is right now. Kind of like it started a wave 2, and this whole thing just kind of probably got bigger. I don't know. I guess I could do a new subwave in here, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. Just look to, 38.93 next is where it wants to go. Is Boba an equity?
Okay. No, they're crypto. I'll do those real quick.
Okay.
Filecoin and Boba.
Boba
I'll
Fett.
do that real quick. Boba. So yeah, Boba and Filecoin. So we can see Boba is in kind of like a perpetual downtrend, and I think what we're seeing now is this has been flipped to resistance. Right, this previous support back in October of 2023, boom, flipped to resistance, and that's right where the conversion line is too. So cannot be any kind of optimistic on this chart until price actually gets back above that 10-cent zone. So that's going to be the target to get more optimistic. But right now, it's still in a downtrend. It's still under massive amounts of resistance, and it has no trend change, right? It's still downtrend. So be careful, be cautious until this trend change can change. Not sure if it will happen anytime soon, though. But 10 cents is my target to flip back to a support. And if so, then it can be more optimistic. So Filecoin, we can see that going to, let's go to Binance. Yeah, Filecoin is also looking like it's kind of flipped things to resistance as well, right? We can take a look at this previous zone right here, support, right? We can move it up a little bit. All of this was support, and now it's resistance. So whenever you see that kind of a trend change, it needs to get back on top of it to get more optimistic. So Filecoin kind of similar to Boba, where it needs to start breaking levels. Otherwise, it can continue lower and lower and lower. So $2.88 is really $2.90 maybe is kind of the zone I'm watching for Filecoin to break back above. And if it cannot do it, then it's going to be continued pressure and it could go lower or just sideways. So it already tried to break above. It failed in the past couple of weeks. So patience, but I would be cautious here because it's not a bullish chart.
Let's see. I've got my Apple linear chart here. I don't trade Apple because, like I was saying on the show the other day, it's kind of boring. It just moves too slowly for me. I want something that moves higher and faster. Apple does. It's a very good, very constructive chart. It sort of seems to be in this channel pretty much with a little break here with the April 7th low. And we're off of it a little bit. But basically, I'm looking at this to go. This is my 1, 2, and it had a really high wave 3 sub 1, almost 100%. I thought it was gonna before it got back knocked back. I thought it was gonna go to 325 right away, but that's still where I'm targeting. $325 next, or eh, 63% higher where price closed yesterday. And it's going to have trouble getting over 2.6. But actually, I want a little bit of a space between here, unless this goes into a diagonal. Maybe something more like 286 will be the wave 4 support. And ultimately, see this topping out. Wave 5 at the 238.2% fib extension at $471.31, or about 137% higher from where price is right now. There you go. Apple, definitely an uptrend from here. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, Apple for me is it needs to start proving itself. So let me just show my Apple chart. Let me go to here. So yeah, here's my Apple chart.
A couple of words about Apple versus Meta, which is that Apple, all your devices are like these wearable, like they've got the wristwatch wearables, but people are still carrying their phones everywhere. If Meta turns AR, VR glasses into something that's really, really works well and inexpensive, that could take off. People could be wearing glasses on their heads instead of carrying phones everywhere. So that is something to watch out for. Meta versus Apple. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yes, on my Apple chart, it's starting to lose a lot of support. So I'm being cautious on it until it gets back above 203. So this is actually losing the cloud, losing the 1.272, the 100-week moving average. The conversion line still hasn't crossed above it yet. So it's still under a lot of pressure, which kind of proves to me that it needs to start showing itself that it wants to break above and start closing candles above that 203 zone in order to get more bullish. So I'm going to be remaining neutral on Apple here until it can prove that, because it can continue to drift a little bit lower until it's ready to break this resistance. So that's my take on Apple for the moment.
All right, thank you very much. Here's Novo Nordisk. I'm charting it for the very first time. I used to listen to NPR a lot, and they always had Novo Nordisk ads on there. Never charted it. So from this low of $15.45 to the $60.98 back to $47.50 was my wave 1, wave 2. Is what my eyes see, and you can see it peaked out. Wave 5 peaked out right at the 223.6 fib. I just want to show you could see a chart that does actually go to the targets that I talk about. There's one that did that. Here's the 120.6, and it never made it back to the 764. It kind of pre-proved it here. Anyway, I'm going to delete this now, or actually, no, I'm just going to move the points. So from the same bottom, I'm going to move this higher to the all-time high. If it'll let me, there we go, of 148.15, and then this had on April 7th. The whole thing was like just a big chart reset for just like the pandemic, April 7th has turned into a new, like a big 1-2 for me for a lot of charts. I'm pretty surprised, but really. So all right, from here, let's look for look the 382, 236, 1236, 764, 36. So that looks pretty wild. Let me just change this over to my template for the 236 move. So yeah, for Nova Nordisk to make a, I don't know, I guess it's when you see all the biotechs and stuff, maybe this one will lead the way. 61% higher to the 382, where you can see there's a sell order block already waiting. And then back to the 88% higher to the wave 1, 230% higher to the wave 3 top. Risk reward's really good. It's just still 4% fib boss. Look, there it is at 72.13. We're under it. So this is a great risk reward setup for entering Novo Nordisk. What do you think, Matt? Back to you. What do you got? Oh, it's 9:06.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. I mean, if you wanted to do one more, that's fine. But that's all I will do today.
IO&Q earnings has, I didn't know that they had earnings today. Let's see. My IO&Q chart says, this is the one. Let's see this 11.4. I can't believe how useful that 11.4 fib has been this time around. Usually, I don't even give it a second thought, but now it's been like, It wants to go to 32. I'm sorry, 33.21. I had a position. No, I still have a position in this. My cost base is up here just under the 382 because I was buying it on the way down. Let's see. Yeah. So look for 331 next, which from where price is right now, about 13.4% higher. If it goes significantly above this, watch for the 50% fib next. Why aren't you there already? At 38.10. If it just goes kind of crazy, that there's a sell block order. Well, obviously they're just looking at the previous all-time high up here. So, but yeah, let's just watch for 33.31 next, and then if it goes past that, watch 38.10 and then 42.89. But it could easily just do 382.236. All right, there you go. Oh, be careful in case sometimes these things on earnings day, it could jump up to 33.20, 33.31, like at 4:01 p.m. and then like by 8 p.m. it's down here at 20. So just be careful. I don't know. There's an opportunity here maybe to add more tomorrow. Okay, right. Sorry about that. Well done.
No problem. And with that, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, and thanks again for hanging out with us. See you then.
Yeah, thank you guys.
See you, Matt.
All right. See ya. Bye.